Alright guys, so last we left off, we were working on this track here, and I had just finished adding some keys. I had this keyboard melody, kind of came up with it off the fly, recorded it in. You get it. So as far as songwriting production wise, the last thing I want to do is I want to add in some vocal samples taken from some old hip hop. Particularly I have some really crazy like old songs from an artist named Skinny Pimp. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of him. Pretty fucking awesome. I mean, his old stuff, it's floating around on YouTube. People who actually own the physical copy uploaded them to YouTube. So I've found a couple of those that I want to take from, and we'll drag those in real quick and we'll give them a listen. So I actually have the vocal pieces that I want to use right here in the folder for the purpose of this tutorial. I got most of the stuff ready, so.
Silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping like a hit man. Scope my man, then I toss the dynamite. My fault, you got caught. Shouldn't have been a bystander. Bullet lead in the head to niggas I got Anna with you scatter. No matter how fast you raise the bus, I will blow through the back of your face. Lunatic, second shit. First I signed the contract. Something like a crazy check to place you in the Kroger back. Bloody, suddenly I scratch them off my hit list. I just want to cap a nigga just to make my reps bigger. Dangerously, anxiously. I ain't no motherfucking T. Fuck Merry Christmas, all I wanna do is trick or treat. You ain't cool, damn fool, prone to your fucking dome. You're listening to the Hurt Feeling Child Capone.
Hurt Feeling, that's where I'm coming, trick. Don't be shooting across, I light your ass with a match, bitch. Don't be talking that shit, the hood is the war zone. Niggas run up, my gauge is still popping cone. Knife in the throat, so choke off your blood, ho. Stop be kicking the shit out your ass with the steel, ho. Suckers, they step you broke. I hope you got big nuts, ain't a damn.
I mean, this shit's just fucking grimy. I love it.
Breaking your fucking jaw, pocket like this in your grill, bitch. Fingers on the trigger, boom, drop his ass in a ditch. So get close, nigga, my Glock will be rock.
And if somebody had given me that tape back then when they put it out, I would have been fucking losing my mind. Alright, so I think this track here, to audio, yeah, it looks like it's empty, nothing on it. So we can just use this for the vocal for now. Let's pull that in.
Silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping like a hit man. Scope my man, then I toss the dynamite. Just scatter, no matter how fast you raise the bus, I will blow through the.
Okay, so obviously we're gonna have to warp that and probably do a million other things to it too to make it fit. Then we have another one here, just like a little piece that I found from something.
I be like crap, but I'm frontin' up under they funky. I be like crap, but I'm frontin' up under they funky ass. They know me as Derek, but niggas don't know that I'm skinny with under the ski mat. Just like my big brother red down full week yanking all. Yes, they know me as Derek, but niggas don't know that I'm skinny with under the ski mat. Just like my big brother red down.
That part right there, I love it.
Yes, they know me as Derek, but niggas don't know. Yes, they know me as Derek, but niggas don't know that I'm skinny with under the ski mat. Just like my big brother red down full week yanking all.
So yeah, if you guys like that shit, I encourage you to go check that out. Go try and find some of it. That old shit's the best though. I found some of his stuff on Apple Music, and I guess it's newer. It's just not quite the same for me anyway. So let's get to work on these vocals and see what we can do with them. So when we're warping stuff, first thing we want to do is find the beginning of that thing. Where's the 1? And then we're going to set that 1 and warp from there. So in this case,
silent night, there's no light. That's when silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping like a hit man. Scope my man, then I toss the dynamite. My fault, you got caught. shouldn't have been a bystander. Bullet lead in the head to niggas like an anna. With you scattered, no matter how fast you get ready to bust, I will blow through the back.
Alright, I'm going to put a line there, Command E, and separate this from everything else, because that to me sounds like the prime real estate. That's what I want to pick from. So the song itself sounds like it actually starts right here.
Silent night, there's no light. That's when silent night, there's no light.
So I'm going to come in here, and right where I see this waveform, Ableton is suggesting the ones right here. I'm going to come a little bit further to the left of that. Not quite to where this waveform just begins. A lot of people do that. I like to come somewhere in between, so like where they suggest and where the waveform begins, somewhere right here in the middle. So I'll probably pick like here. Now I'm going to right click on that and hit set 1 from here, and now that tells the computer, it tells Ableton that the 1 is that point. That's the 1. So let's listen back with the metronome on.
Silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping like a hit man. Scope my man, then I toss the dynamite. My fault, you got caught. Shouldn't have been a bystander. Okay, so obviously it's still way off. So I'm gonna come in here and we're just gonna go to town on this fucking thing. Silent night, silent night, silent night, there's no light. Silent night, there's no light. That's when I silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping like a heat. Silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping. Silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping. Silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping like. So it's creeping. Silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping like the heat man. Go my man. Then a silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping like the heat man. Go my man. Then I toss the dynamite. My fault, you got caught. Shouldn't have been a bystander. Bullet lead. Silent night, there shouldn't have been a bystander. Bullet lead in the head to niggas. Shouldn't have been a bystander. Bullet lead in the head to niggas. Shouldn't have been a bystander. Bullet lead in the head to niggas like an anna with just. Bullet lead in the head to niggas like an anna with you scattered, no matter how fast you get. Bullet lead in the head to niggas like an anna with you scattered, no matter how fast you get ready to. Well, we're probably not going to go that far anyway, so let's concentrate more over here still. Silent night, silent night, silent. So I just want to point out real quickly that I am not exactly grabbing these yellow warp markers and putting them on the grid every time. What I'm doing is really paying attention to these transients, the audio waveforms down there, and making sure that the beginnings, for the most part, the beginnings of those are in line with the grid. Sometimes you have to grab the warp marker and make fine movements with it, otherwise it'll snap to the grid. So like I'm doing right there, you click on the warp marker, hold down with the mouse, and at the same time hold the Alt Option key. When you do that, you can slide it around with fine movements, not actually locking to the grid every time. Silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping like the heat man. Go my man, then I toss the dynamite. My fault, you got caught. Shouldn't have been a silent night. There's no light. That's when I start creeping like the heat man. Go my man, then I toss the dynamite. My fault, you got caught. Shouldn't have been a bystander. Bullet lead in silent night. There's no light. That's when I start creeping like the heat man. Go my man, then I toss the dynamite. My fault, you heat man. Go my man. you got caught, shouldn't, man. Then I tossed the dynamite, my fault, you got caught. Shouldn't have been a bystander, bullet lead in the head to niggas like an Anna with you scatter, no matter how fast you can raise the butt. Lead in the head. Bullet in the head to niggas. Bullet lead in the head to niggas like an Anna with you scatter. Niggas like an Anna with. Niggas like an Anna with you scatter, no. Niggas like an Anna with you scatter, no matter how fast you can raise the butt. No, with you scatter, no. With you scatter, no matter how. No, with you scatter, no matter how fast. Anna with you scatter, no matter how fast. Anna with you scatter, no matter how fast you can raise the butt.
Alright, so let's put this over the beat real quick and see.
Silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping like a heat man. Go my man. Silent night, there's no light. Silent night, there's no light. That's when there's no light.
So something that completely matched up over the metronome, now when I put it over the beat doesn't sound like it's on time. So that's why I'm putting it over the beat and then adjusting from there as well.
Silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping like a heat man. Go my man.
Too fast there.
Creeping like a heat man. Go my man. Been like a heat man, go my man. Then I toss the dynamite. Been like a heat man, go my man. Then I toss the dynamite. My fault, you got caught. My fault, you got caught. My fault, you got caught. You got caught, shouldn't have been a bystander, bullet. Bystander, shouldn't have been a bystander. Shouldn't have been a bystander, bullet. In the head to niggas like an Anna with you. Silent night, there's no light. That's when I start creeping like a heat man. Go my man. Then I toss the dynamite. My fault, you got caught. Shouldn't have been a bystander, bullet lead in the head to niggas like an Anna with you.
Nice, sounds good enough for now, timing wise. And now for this next part here, let's move it away from the beat to work with it real quick.
But I'm frontin' up under they funky ass. They know me as Derek, but niggas don't know that I'm skinning with under the ski mask. Just like ass, they know me, they know me as Derek, but niggas don't know that I'm skinning with under the ski mask. Just like my big brother red down full week yanking out.
Alright, so I want to grab this part.
They know me as Derek, but niggas don't know that I'm skinning with under the ski mask.
Okay, so let's separate. First, actually, let me just say this. Sometimes the very beginning of the audio clip that you wish to warp, this part right here, for instance, isn't actually the beginning beat, or the one, if you will. In fact, this first word, it's actually going to be the end of the measure that comes right before the one that we're working on, where this verse is going to be. The second word, which is the word no, that's actually going to be the first beat of our measure. Subsequently, that's where we're going to set our one. So I'm going to set my beginning spot. So Ableton has here. I'm going to go a little to the left of it. So I'm going to right click on that, set 1 here, right click on that again, and warp from here straight. Now with the click track on,
Is there tell me is there if a nigga tell me is there if a nigga don't tell me is there if a nigga tell me is there if a nigga don't know that I'm tell me is there if a nigga don't know that I'm skinning with tell me is there if a nigga don't know that I'm skinning with under the ski matches like my
okay, so that's it roughly.
tell me is there if a nigga don't know that I'm skinning with under the ski matches.
So the word they is one of the beats right before the next measure starts. All right, so let's clean it up over here on our actual beat. So remember to put the 1 where it goes.
They know me as there if a nigga don't know that I'm skinning with under the ski matches like my big
This is how you drive people crazy that you live with. Just play shit on a loop constantly. Okay, so this thing here, let's move it over here.
niggas I got Anna with. They know me as there if a nigga don't know that I'm skinning with under the ski match. There's no light, that's when I start creeping like the heat man. Go my man, then I toss the dynamite. My fault, you got caught. Shouldn't have been a bystander, bullet lead. And the hits and niggas I got Anna with. They know me as there if a nigga don't know that I'm skinning with under the ski match.
Alright, so we've got several little vocals here to work with, all of them relatively in time, at least in time enough to do what we're wanting to do here. So now we're going to have to kind of use some other techniques to make them stand out. For the fact is, they do have their own music going underneath them. So we're trying to lay some vocals on top of our original music, and this vocals already have their own music. So obviously that's going to clash. Luckily we have these two parts.
You got caught, shouldn't have been a bystander, bullet lead. And the hits and niggas I got Anna with. They know me as there if a nigga don't know that I'm skinning with under the ski match.
Luckily those two parts, they don't have any music, so that should be easy. We just gotta deal with this one here. So that's actually it for this one, guys. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to check out the next one. We're going to go a bit further with the vocals and do some processing on them, including EQing to help them sit in the mix better, as well as to try and mask or remove the music that accompanies the vocals from the original recording. After that, I believe we'll be done with them and ready to work on arrangement. So be sure and check that one out. Hopefully you can get something out of it. And thanks for watching.